Hello, how are you doing? My name is Dr. Ricky Carr, and you have now joined our Kingdom Entrepreneurs Program. Um, this is where we offer boot camps on different financial matters that we believe are important to discuss. As I said, my name is Dr. Ricky Carr. I'm a licensed enrolled agent. I've been licensed by the IRS to represent people before the IRS. I've been trained in the tax code and been doing this for a few years now. I have my own tax resolution firm, and I'm the senior partner there. And we help hundreds of people with tax issues and financial issues and anything that's related to taxes. This is what we do. Um, we represent people if they receive a letter from the IRS. I'm the guy you call, and let me talk to the IRS for you to see if we can come to a resolution regarding whatever matter you have with them. Here in our boot camp program, um, we like to talk about topics that we believe are relevant, especially in this day and time. And today we have chosen a topic to talk about, and we pray and hope that you will be able to gain some insight into this particular matter. And hopefully, it'll cause you to at least consider some of the strategies that we offer. So let's get into it. This is our boot camp today, and we're going to be focusing on surviving in retirement. Surviving in retirement. Um, at some point, this is what many of us we're looking forward to. We're looking forward to retirement. But the question is, are we prepared for retirement? And are we able to sustain during the full phases, the full range of our retirement life? Well, we're here today to see if we can share some strategies on how to make that a reality. In a study from um, Arlington Life, it says 61% of Americans are more afraid of running out of money than they are of death. They're afraid of running out of money than they are of death. We go on a little bit further. So why do most people run out of money in retirement? That's the question we want to um, focus on today. Why do most people run out of money in retirement? What we've done, we've compiled a list of 7 main reasons that we have seen, and I'm talking about dealing with the clients that we deal with, that have caused people to run out of money in retirement. Here are some of the 7 that we have compiled. There may be more, but here are the 7 that we compiled. Taxes. As you notice, it's the top of the list. One of the main reasons why people run out of money is they are unprepared for the taxes that they're going to have to pay during retirement. Then, of course, you have health care. In retirement, unfortunately, many people find themselves with many health issues. And that could really, the cost can really mount up when it comes to health care. Some people experience divorce. What a change in life in retirement to go through divorce and having to deal with deciding how monies are going to be divided. is a very trying time. Number four, things out of your control. There's some things that happen that you simply do not have control. Let me give me an example. We had no control over the pandemic. It just happened. And it was a serious setback for a lot of people. Inflation. You have no control over inflation, but it can definitely impact us. Retiring too soon. It is very important that you understand the timing for your retirement. You don't want to retire too early. Spending too much money, that is a big one. When you're in retirement, you must pay attention to every penny that you have. And last but not least, poor financial planning. What's interesting is I have that at number 7. Some people would say that it should be number 1. You know, I teach a lot of times on things that are urgent and things that are important. We have a tendency of focusing our attention on things that we feel are urgent while we neglect the thing that is important. And a lot of times, what is important is just not something that you want to pay much attention to, and that is planning. It's amazing when things happen, the first thing we begin to do is start acting rather than sitting down and put together a plan. And then you let that plan be the roadmap to control your behavior. Planning is crucial, especially when we're talking about retirement. Here's the agenda. We're going to offer today 4 tips to avoid running out of money in retirement. They are having a spending plan, understanding tax implications, investment shifting, and maximizing your Social Security benefits. These are the 4 tips that we're going to address today when it comes to avoiding us running out of money in retirement. Now, I need you to get a pad and a pen. I need you to get ready to write some things down, because when this is over, you need to follow up with your own research. This is just how important it is. Your future will be determined by how prepared you are, and we want you to be prepared. Let's start with our first tip, spending plan. Our first tip is we must have a spending plan. A spending plan is a method for distributing your income among the mix of things you want and need. Creating a spending plan ahead of time will allow you to effectively manage your finances and determine where to best spend your money. This is very important. A lot of times when people retire, it's something you've been preparing for years. The day has finally come, and you're retired, and you are excited. I now have my time back. It's a sense of freedom. And if you're not careful, you will start engaging into activities that are just not profitable for you in the long run. Somebody said to me one day, well, what's the difference between a spending plan and a budget? Well, they're pretty much the same. It's more of an attitude issue when you talk about a spending plan. and a budget. Okay, let me give you an example. Normally, when I look at a budget is like a school teacher telling me not to do something. We can't do this. You can't write it like this. You can't put the comma there. You can't put the period there. It's restrictive. Yeah, but a spending plan is more of like having a guardrail, placing a guardrail to keep you from spending or to keep you spending in line with the bigger picture. It's like a guardrail a rail to keep you spending in line with the bigger picture. Now, you remember I said earlier, when you first retire, there's such excitement that if you're not careful, there is a temptation to indulge and reward yourself without the necessary guardrail to control that. And you begin to indulge and reward yourself. Why? Because you've worked all your life, and yes, it's time to enjoy. But this could have a negative impact on the later phases of your retirement. So it is best at the beginning to have this spending plan in place as like a guardrail to make sure your spending is in alignment with the later phase of your retirement. The things that you want and you need going to have to be managed carefully so you do not run out of money in retirement. The purpose of the spending plan is so that you live responsibly within that plan. You have to learn how to live responsibly when you enter retirement. You have to. This is like the second stage or the second phase of retirement. This is what I call the honeymoon because there's so much excitement. But in this phase, you need to be paying very close attention to see if you're coming up short. Because if you're coming up short now, what you think the future is going to look like? So you have to start making adjustments in this second phase. This second phase is when you really start paying attention and determine when you need to start making adjustments. That's tip one. What is tip two? Tip two is to understand tax implications. Tip two is to understand tax implications. Withdrawals from certain retirement accounts like traditional IRAs or 401s are taxable. This is very important. These accounts also have required minimum distributions beginning at age now 73. That's important. Manage your annual taxable income can help keep taxes down and more money going toward the things you want to spend it on. See, when you talk about retirement income, it's more about how much money you can keep than how much money you can get. How much money can you keep? And since we have already determined taxes is the number one expense in retirement, we're going to have to be able to understand the tax implication and make sure that we do not pay more taxes than what is required. You see, retirement planning doesn't stop in retirement. If anything, it becomes more important in retirement. Let me think about this. You have to focus on the Medicare premium cost. Is it going to increase? You have to pay attention to your Social Security benefit, the taxation on that. Is there a way to avoid that? So you have to pay attention to that. You have to pay attention to the RMD, as we just talked a few minutes ago, required minimum distribution, because at a 73, then a certain amount of money is going to have to be taken out and added to your income, which could place you in a higher tax bracket. So we have to pay attention to that. Then we have to pay attention to where are we going to draw our income, retirement income from first. We have to know where we're going to be withdrawing our money from first, because that too has tax implications. So and I'm just naming a few, but with these things to consider, we have to be very responsible and pay very close attention to this whole tax situation, because, as I'm sure you know, there is a conversation in Congress about increasing taxes. So we've been saving money all our lives, and now we're about ready to enjoy it. And now, by the time for me to enjoy it, you about to go up on taxes. So we have to pay very close attention. And you see, this is not to cause you to fear. This is bringing this to your attention so you can come up with a strategy that will offset these potential threats to your retirement income. So you have to understand about the IRA tax situation, the 401k tax situation, the RMD tax situation, and also the tax situation on the Social Security income. So we're going to attack this, but we're going to attack it with a plan. That was tip 2. Here's tip 3. Investment shifting. The transition from growth to income should be a gradual process that focuses on increasing diversification to help reduce large swings in the value of your investments. This means shifting a portion of your investment from growth-oriented stocks to more mature assets, often in the form of dividend stocks, bonds, and other investments which low correlation to high growth stocks. What are you saying, Rich? Some of these stocks that you have will be considered growth. Some will be considered mature in the fact that there's less aggressiveness. Most of the time with a growth stock, that's something like if you invest in a company. Well, that can be an aggressive investment because the volatility is so high, it can go up or down, and these swings could cost you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in lost income. So you take a greater risk, where if you place your money in more of a mature asset, such as bonds or dividend stocks, the volatility is not the same. So you have to be careful with that. So the reason this is so important is because there are some tax implications involved here. Let me give you an example. You may have investment in a 401k, But you might want to consider shifting that, converting that to a Roth IRA. And let me explain to you why. Right now, the 401k, well, it's a tax benefit to you because the tax is deferred, meaning you don't pay tax now, but you will pay tax when you take it out. Whereas a Roth IRA, the tax is paid now, but when you withdraw this money, there are no taxes that you're going to experience. Now, you have to understand the 5-year rule of the Roth IRA. And what that simply means is once you take out a Roth IRA and you start contributing to this, it has to be in operation for 5 years before you can take money out and not be taxed on that. And of course, you must be older than 59 and a half. So let's say you're already in retirement and you might want to consider, okay, can I convert this Roth now? Can I convert this 401k now to a Roth? It's going to be a hit now. But 5 years from now, when I start taking this money out, now this money's going to be tax-free. Can I live off of my Social Security now and maybe get a side job to give myself time, this 5-year rule, that would then allow me to, when I start receiving my retirement income, I have my retirement and my Social Security, and I don't have to worry about a second job, another job, because now those two together can help sustain me. This is just a strategy you can think about. You know, I share with people, you have to pay very close attention to timing and how you're going to shift your investments around. So one of the strategies is the possibility of investment shifting. Now, if you have stocks, you know, once again, you have to look at that. You know, you have taxable, you have tax deferred, and you have tax-free taxes. So you have to evaluate everything. I have a whole program that I deal with when it comes to investment and taxes. You want to be tax efficient when it comes to investing. This is tip 3. Here is tip 4. Maximize Social Security benefits. If you are retiring early, claiming Social Security may make sense for your retirement plan. If you're still working, you may find a good amount of Social Security benefits reduced, though. Assuming you earn too much money, for most retirees, the longer you can wait to claim Social Security, now I said for most, not everybody, the more helpful it will be to avoid running out of money in retirement. You know, I had so many clients that really did not understand. They were under the impression that none of their Social Security would be taxed. Well, it is a possibility if you meet the criteria and you stay within the income ratios. If your adjusted gross income stays within the right ratio, then you can receive Social Security and not be taxed. So the strategy is to make sure, that's once we're back again to this taxes, you have to make sure that you're wise with how you strategize with your taxes so your Social Security benefits won't be taxed. One of the things that I caution people about they have a job, they file a tax return with a Schedule C. And one of the things that people like to do is they want to write off as much as they want to write off, just as much as they can to reduce how much taxes they're going to owe. And I understand. But in addition to that, you have to remember this. When you are reducing the taxes on your Schedule C, because you don't want to pay a lot, it's also going to reduce your Social Security benefits when you retire. So you have to ask yourself how you want to play this. Because if you are too aggressive before you retire, when you retire, your Social Security benefits might be impacted. Because one thing for sure, before you retire, you should definitely understand what your payout is for 62, 67, and or 70. It should not be a surprise. But once again, you also need to pay attention to see if maybe I need to be, instead of trying to make as less as I can on my show, as less as I can on my Schedule C, I need to maybe show more, as much as I can, if I'm going to be concerned about how my future Social Security benefits are going to look. These tips are very important when it comes to trying to ensure you don't run out of money during retirement. See, but you have to understand there are 5 phases in retirement. And you have to make sure that you maximize each phase in retirement. I know I have a series on that, the 5 phases of retirement. I mean, this particular session is not for that, but you have to understand how important that is. Now, these are the 4 tips. Now, there's a bonus that I'm going to give, though, because I don't want to leave you. I'm going to give you a bonus. It wasn't in the 4 that I gave you, but here's your bonus. Tax advisory program. It is crucial, the 5th tip, that you have somebody that's helping you plan your retirement. Somebody that is an expert, somebody who understands the tax code. Let me read this to you. Our team is focused on helping you get your financial affairs in order and devise a wealth transfer strategy that not only preserves but maximizes family wealth. This is what my company does. Our job is to help you and work alongside you, and so we can come up with strategies. I want to come up with things that probably you've not even thought about. I didn't even think about that. That's why I'm here, because this is what I do. The planning should facilitate the orderly transfer of assets to your loved ones as desired, as efficiently and painless as possible. Estate planning is not just about having a will and a trust. It is more to it than that. Although they are an important element, we believe in a coordinated approach with your other advisors to consider all aspects of your family and its finances, not just the tax aspect. So we take into consideration the whole picture. And it's important that you understand that. Many people fail to realize that taxes are their single most significant expense. Now, here's something I really want you to pay attention to. Most financial advisors and wealth managers disclose that they can't give you tax advice. So the idea that a person you go to for financial advice is unable or unwilling to advise you on the single largest thing impacting your retirement income is simply inconceivable. In other words, whoever you're going to use, they must understand taxes and the consequences of these taxes if they're not addressed appropriately ahead of time. It's okay to find somebody to get you to invest here and invest there, and I understand that, but the goal is to keep your money. What good is it to make money and then the money goes away? What good is it? The goal is to keep it. You have two choices. You can educate yourself on the IRS tax code, or insist that the person you are paying, whom you have entrusted with the oversight of your retirement income, be a tax expert. It is crucial. I want to share with you some of the programs that we do offer. Um, we have a 7-step Kingdom Entrepreneur Master Plan. We call it KIM. And one of the things in this particular program, we talk about understanding the 5 phases of retirement. We have the Kingdom Entrepreneur Network. I have a Facebook program and YouTube program that comes on every, I think Monday night at 7 o'clock, and we share information about finances. For churches, we have a program, an online course called Safeguarding Your Church. It's a Safeguarding Your Church online course, which helps the church stay in compliance, right? But here's the goal. We're safeguarding our church so it can become audit proof. I show you how to safeguard your church so it becomes audit proof. Because if the IRS was to come to audit, you want to be comfortable that your program is intact and it will pass the audit. So it needs to be audit proof. And that's what this online course is about. I mean, we talk about so many things. It talks about the pastor's compensation package. It talks about when a pastor goes to a church and he preaches, okay, can he assign that money to his church or to his own ministry? How does that all work? You know what I'm saying? If sometimes conferences, and we tend to take care of the top leadership, we pay for their rooms and all this kind of stuff in the hotel. The question is that considered a taxable fringe benefit for that leader? So we go into all those kind of things. And so therefore you need to, if you feel like it's something that you're considering, reach out to us. We got another program called Generations Need. And this program deals mainly with the children or the young adults. The goal here is to educate and to also have the children become financially intelligent. It's about financial intelligence. Financial intelligence and generational wealth transfer. These are the things that's not taught in school. They're beginning to teach some things about finances, but generational wealth transfer is simply not one of them that I have come across so far. We deal with IRS representation. You get a letter from the IRS, our program, we can give you an advice on exactly how you need to do in order to navigate. And then, of course, tax planning. We definitely like to work with clients about tax planning. Tax planning is not about necessarily not paying any tax. It's about reducing your taxes that you pay the IRS. And so therefore we have to understand our tax brackets and then how to get out of one bracket into another bracket so it reduces your tax liability. These things are strategic and you have to pay very close attention to them. And that's what we do in our tax advisory program. Generally speaking, if I was doing this live, of course, it'd be a Q&A, but of course, there's no Q&A here. However, I have the contact information. We have our phone number or our email address. Phone number is 757-373-4145 or support@rjcfts.com. If you want to continue this conversation and you would like for us to really help you with your retirement and some strategies, we talked about the 4 tips. We could talk about the phases. We could talk about converting your 401ks to the Roth. There are so many things that we could talk about. We could talk with you about your Social Security, the timing of when you're going to take the money out, and just a host of things, and how to make sure when you're doing your taxes, you're doing it in a way that it doesn't cause you to have to pay taxes on your Social Security. All these things that we're able to do if you want to continue this conversation. I want to thank you for joining us in this boot camp. regarding surviving in retirement.